Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. And our show comes on every day, shown across America on YouTube. So I got something to show you in a second. But let's go ahead and get our weather first. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of everyday comfort needs. Today, high 60, low 46. Pretty comfortable. A little on the cool side, but not bad. Looking at the water temperature, that's again sort of fascinating me. It's 58 degrees this morning. I just checked my notes 1 week ago. It was 55 degrees. It went up 3 degrees in 1 week. That's very interesting. So we'll see. Today's the first day of February. So that's hard to believe that January is over with. Our river reading brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. Take a look at the Apalachicola Bluntstown. It's still high. It's reading this morning at a 15.3. The Choctaw at Caryville, 10.4. Now the Choctaw is starting to go down a little bit, but we might have more rain coming, so it's going to be up there pretty high. So both rivers are in the high stage right now. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Today's the first day of February, and we're looking at pretty neat tides, but Saturday's tides are going to be strong. So if you have a chance to go and plan something for the weekend in the tidal waters, you're going to have a good strong tide. Also, the wind direction is coming out southwest at about 7. Okay, looking at what I was going to tell y'all, one of our viewers, this is Wilbur Miller's cousin in San Bernardino, California. He watches us on YouTube, so good morning, Billy Blizzard. And Billy also ordered a little bottle of stand stuff. They had shipped it all the way to California from watching it on our show, and I went by, like I said, by Ace Hardware to get some. I bought the last 3 bottles. So that was a good run on stand stuff. That was good. I saw the folks the other day, Avalon's mom, and she said there were a lot of folks bought stand stuff after seeing it on the show. So hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for doing that. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to a familiar face here on Panhandle Outdoors, Jerry Forehand.
Good to be here. Good to see you, Winston.
Welcome back. Jerry and I, we communicate a lot through texting, talking and all, and he's quite an outdoorsman. And he sends some great, you see a lot of pictures he sends, but like all outdoorsmen, every now and then we need to take a little vacation, a little break, right?
Yes, it's important, especially for our wives.
That's true. So we're going to talk a lot about outdoor stuff later, but first let's cover a little trip y'all took. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, we just celebrated our 53rd wedding anniversary, so we went to New Orleans for 3 days and went through the World War II Museum and really enjoyed that. And then we got on a cruise and we went to the Yucatan Peninsula, Cozumel, tourist trap, but we still enjoyed it, Right. But we ended up in Progreso, and we love to see the ruins right there of the Mayan ruins.
Wow.
So that's pretty much what we done, and we've seen the 2 of them, and that was really a great trip for us.
Well, listen, we've got some pictures. We won't cover the whole trip and all, but it was what, 7-day cruise you said?
It was a 5-day.
5-day
cruise.
And
out of New Orleans.
Okay, but you spent a couple of days there at the World War II Museum.
That's correct, and that was really.
You hit 2 of my bucket list, those Mayan ruins, which I probably will never get to, but the World War II Museum is not that hard to get to.
No. 7 hours you're there.
Gail and I talk about it every summer, and then something comes up about going up there. So this may inspire us to go. So, but you brought us some pictures. Let's look at a couple of pictures right here. Tell us about this one.
Well, that's pretty much the entrance of the World War II Museum.
And your beautiful bride, there she is.
Yeah.
Carolyn?
She was a little under the weather for a few days, but she's recuperated. We were actually going to gas up and go home and forget the cruise.
No way.
And then she said, I just can't go home. We're going. And so the first 2 days was kind of rough, and she ended up staying in our room for 2 days, literally.
Yeah.
Because we were traveling anyway.
Yeah.
And but she got to feeling a little better, and So it was a very successful trip, even for her.
Oh, good.
Because she responded really good.
That's good. Well, let's look at some of these pictures. It's cool.
Okay.
Tell us about this one.
Well, that's they have a great display of planes that were in World War II that made a very big impact, and of course that that one was really a bomber.
Yeah.
And when you think about the 10,000 airplanes in the sky at one time, that's a lot of
Can you
planes.
imagine that?
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And when I'm just watching news
Yeah.
of it and seeing World War II on TV, the historical aspects of it, it's just mind-boggling.
Okay, and what's this right here?
All right, that's actually the radio systems, and that's the first walkie-talkie on the right. And the reason I took that picture with her standing there, that her daddy was a radio man in World War II.
Cool.
And that was what he did. And of course, that meant you had to be on the front line sending messages back. Well, he was injured and Purple Heart and had to come home. And really, his injuries were emotional more than anything.
Yeah.
PTSD, they just said go home and get over it.
That's right.
And it bothered him the rest of his life.
Wow, that's something.
But the war is not for the weak of, you know, and it was just one of those things that
and that was
he had to live with.
Yeah. And that was the advent of the walkie-talkie.
That was
when first started. So look at us now.
And they had to carry that big thing on their back too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the airplanes and the like had that aspect in their planes so they could communicate when they hit the ground.
Yeah. You take all that stuff for granted now. Back then, that was just breaking stuff.
Oh yes, it was just
cool.
that was just new stuff.
Okay, here and this talks about it right here. The company, Motorola, actually, Motorola company was actually became a walkie-talkie. So, and I know that that's cool there. And what about this one?
Well, if you can look, that's I think a Packard engine. That was our main engine for a lot of our planes, and I'm pretty sure that was in the P-51.
Okay.
I'm not positive, but I believe it is, and that's the airplane that just gave us control of the skies. Germany did not have anything, or neither did Japan that could handle that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's where we want to go. Of course, my dad was in the Battle of the Bulge, and Gail's dad flew a P-38, which was right before this.
That's right.
And he actually got to fly it before the end of the war, but that plane is very special.
Oh yes, it is.
And he was sitting between two engines, and he always had trouble hearing it. Always attributed.
Oh yeah.
Both those engines going real loud back then.
They weren't muffled.
There's we got all kind of war stories. Real quick, I don't know if we'll get through this or not. What about this one?
All right, that's a picture of my father. That's the Jeep behind him that was typical of the area. And my father was also in World War II. And he did some Jeep riding. He fired the heavy guns behind it, behind the lines. He was not on the lines, but he could talk about the war. My dad could talk about the war, and I've got a bunch of his war stories in my life. Yeah. But my father-in-law never said one word. Yeah. It's too tough on him.
I know, and we talk about these stories. It was close to our generation because our dads were there, and that's why I studied. And I would share this with my students, some of this history, and they, they didn't really know much about it, but they sort of appreciated it.
That's right.
And how the word Jeep came about. I always tell them the story. Jeep, basically, they called it when it first came off the assembly line. It was a general purpose, GP. Okay, and then what happened? Then her do this. Get a GP. Get a GP. You mean that Jeep? That's how the word Jeep came about originally. Yeah. And that's a true story from World War II. So anyway, it's a great vehicle.
Yes.
I still love them. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with Jerry Forehand, and had a visit out there, outdoorsman going on a quick vacation, which we'll all need to do. And I wanted to share in the picture with us. We've got a couple more I want to show you real quick before we get to outdoor stuff and fishing. What does this mean right here? 170 million what?
Well, that's tons of rations.
The K rations.
That's right. And if you'll notice, it says breakfast, dinner, and supper.
That's funny.
That's really Southern because everybody else eats dinner at night. We eat supper at night.
That's funny. I had not noticed that in the picture. Breakfast, dinner, supper. And that's what we call it. 170 million tons.
Tons.
And then this was.
All right, that's local for us. Liberty ships. Well, we were one of the place. My father started working. I think he worked 2 weeks at building Liberty ships. Got drafted, and you'll see that it turned into a workforce by most ladies.
Yeah.
And I knew ladies after the war, after I was born, that had welded on those.
Yeah, and amazing. Rosie the Riveter.
Yes, yes.
And here we're talking about the Liberty ships. They were made here and all. They were what?
Well, there was 2,710 Liberty ships made. And go to the next one.
And Pascagoula had some.
That's right. Now look at the capacity. Well, they were called ugly ducklings, as you can see.
Yeah.
They were 57 feet wide, 441 feet long. They were just meant to do a job. There was nothing frills about them. But look at the capacity.
That's what's amazing.
Of each ship.
Can you imagine 2,000, almost 3,000 Jeeps?
Yeah, on each ship, and there was 2,000 of them.
You know, the people that engineered that was amazing.
Yeah. All right, there's your P-51 on the bottom right. I'm pretty sure.
That's the B-51. Sure is. Libertador.
That's what defeated any plane that came after us, whether Germany or Japanese.
Cool.
They just couldn't catch us.
Well, you know, you've inspired me to. We're gonna head out there, Gail. I know you're watching this morning, honey. We're gonna head out there pretty soon. We're gonna get some time.
Very enjoyable. Now it was freezing when we were there, and we walked from our hotel to there, and it was almost 2 miles.
And is that in a safe area?
Oh, very safe.
Okay.
Yes, you will love it. And downtown, I haven't felt any safer.
Okay, good.
Here.
Okay. All right, let's jump into outdoor stuff. Thank you for sharing that with us. We were talking before we came on the air. We're going to jump in to make sure we understand that we're going to jump to red grouper now because you have state water, which is local, and then you have federal water. So while we're talking about it, we weren't quite sure if it was open, because it changes so much. So we looked it up on Fish Rules, and I copied it right here. Okay, so here's a red grouper. This is local. I'm going to see what right on the word grouper it says local. It's closed. And so I switched over to federal, okay, red in federal waters, it's closed. Okay, so we want to make sure we get that clarified that red grouper is closed right now. And really that Fish Rules out, and that's the only way I keep up with.
That's the only way I can keep up with.
And we're outdoors people.
That's right, that's right. I look at it every time before I go on a trip.
You were able, I know you do, I do too, because now you had a couple, before you went on your trip, you had a couple of good trips, didn't you?
Well, I haven't fished saltwater, but I've enjoyed bass fishing.
Yeah.
And freshwater fishing, and one of my trips, you showed the picture a few days back, that a fish that I had caught, well, I hunted on the river, Apalachicola, that morning and didn't see nothing but does, and so I just jumped in the boat with my buddy David, and we cast for less than 2 hours, and our biggest fish was 3 3/4 pounds, and we had, I think it was 5 nice fish.
Y'all caught a nice mess of fish.
We did. They were biting. That's middle of the day.
Yeah.
Crankbaits.
Well, I mentioned when I showed the picture, that's the beauty of this area here. You hunt there in the morning. Mm-hmm. You may or may not get a deer, or squirrels, whatever. But then an hour or two later, here you're doing this.
Oh yeah, and I caught them on a square bill, red and black.
Okay.
That's kind of crawfishy. And it's the visibility that they like to see. Because you look at a crawfish when you hold him up. Yeah. It's good for him to be able to see it. So.
Jerry, I know you grew up here, and you know all about the river and all. And we're talking today. We're at high water. We are. It's up at 13, 14 foot. How do you approach? If you really, really want to go fishing and it's high water, what do you try to do?
Well, some of the areas I fish for crappie doesn't matter.
Okay.
I can catch them at 6 foot. I can catch them sometimes at 18 feet.
And they're still going to be down there.
And they're still going to be. You run your graph, you find them on your graph, and that's where you troll. And of course, you fished with me. I use beetle spins. Probably the first time you used them trolling. Maybe.
Yeah, we trolled the beetle fin. That was cool. I really enjoyed that. We're gonna have to do. We were talking the other night. You're gonna go scouting pretty soon.
Yeah, maybe even this week.
Okay.
I don't care if it's river's high. You can still see them down there whether they bite or not.
If you could just go pick out 1 month to fish for them, you could only do it 1 month of the year. What month or two that you would like to go for them?
February.
February. Well, there you go.
February. They're pre-spawn.
Yep.
And they're aggressive because the fish is always aggressive prior to going on the bed.
See, and that's the thing about it. We talk about February sort of being a dead month. It ain't a dead month because all kind of stuff is going on.
That's right, and of course speckled trout goes out.
Yeah, it's closed for speck.
Yeah, it's closed.
In fact, today it's closed today.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
trout.
That's right. So you can catch them, you just can't keep them.
You can't keep them, and it's a lot of fun to catch them.
Oh yeah, but areas where I generally catch speckled trout, because I fish feeder creeks. I love fishing. I'll just be catching bass instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so did enjoy having my grandson here Christmas because he ended up catching his biggest bass.
Oh, really?
He caught a 5-pounder in a feeder creek.
And Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
That's how you spend a Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
Go bass
He
fishing.
enjoyed that, and he got to hunt a little bit. We didn't. He actually hunted on his sister's property and wasn't able to shoot a big deer, and so he turned down a young deer, which he could have legally shot, a young spike. He said, "No, Papa, I want a bigger one, or I don't want to shoot one this time."
That's good. How old is he?
He's 13, Aiden.
Good decision right there.
Yeah, so I've tried to make him conscious of what to and what not to shoot.
Conservation.
That's right.
He'll be back next year.
That's right.
We'll take a final break. Come back with Jerry Forehand. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our time, we're looking at 3:30 to 5:30 this morning, just wrapping that one up. This afternoon, 3:51 to 5:51. We're talking about outdoorsmen, especially fishermen, about how important it is to keep our boats in top notch, especially in your situation, because I know you go offshore a good bit. You've had this boat a while.
That's right.
And it's been a good boat to you.
It has been a good boat. It's an old boat.
Okay, so
if I had to buy another one, I'd probably buy that one. But for the money, it's not worth sweeping. That's the one. I'm not going to switch boats now.
Yeah.
Too old to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a great fishing boat because if your lead hits the wall, it don't matter.
That's true.
I don't have to, worry about my guys.
But your motor, you said you might be having a little bit of trouble.
Well, I put off having the water pump changed, and so now I can't get the foot off to change it. So it's going to go in for major repair. And Harts Marine is where I bought my engine, and I'm scheduled to take it to them this week. So that's well,
I know you do
cost some extra money.
You do a lot of that stuff yourself. You're real handy.
I do. Oh yeah, I change oil, stuff like that.
Yeah, this particular situation, it's going to take a shot.
Well, it takes some experts to do what I couldn't do.
Yeah.
And so and I want to be safe offshore. I fish 40, 50 miles offshore off the Cape, and so I trailer to the Cape and fish down there, and just not as many boats. A bad day out there with boats around you, you might see 4 or 5 at a time.
Well, you've always been able to be real successful on. I'm going to show this picture here.
Okay.
This was one of the recent pictures you did before everything closed up. Tell us about this trip here.
Well, that's almost, I'd say, an average trip.
Yeah.
Because if you showed pictures of all the fish we caught, there ain't no telling how many. We caught several $1,000s worth of fish.
Yeah.
And so anytime you're catching your limit, that's a good fish right there.
Yeah.
That's not our average. Our average is a little smaller than that, but still, that's 15 to 20 pounds.
I love it. The calm seas behind you.
Yeah, we like that. I do fish when it gets a little rougher.
I know. I've been out there with you.
Yeah, and I've learned to troll out. Now, I didn't do much good catching. I just caught bonitas, but I'm watching my screen. Last year, I found 2 grouper spots and didn't have no idea they was there. I just run across the shoal of fish, And I told the guys, I'm turning around, pull them in. We turn around, get on them, and literally at each one of those spots, we caught our limits.
Is that
and we
right?
caught our limits of gag grouper on the one.
Chances are nobody's ever seen that spot.
They might not have, that's right. That's right. There it was, and it wasn't a big spot, but once we started fishing, it got bigger.
Yeah.
That's the key, because they come out from everywhere that you can't see them.
And you were able to mark that spot.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can take you back to it.
We'll
and
do
I bet you on that one we caught 30 red grouper.
Yeah.
And we caught them up to about 20 pounds, and we had to release them all. Of course, I have that release descending device. Put them right back down, and they're good. Never had one float off.
That's cool. I love it. We got spring coming up here in February, and
Yes.
March will be in 3-4 weeks maybe. And we're always talking about Spanish mackerel and king and cobia. So
That's right.
What's your game plan?
Well, I love to catch Spanish mackerel.
Yeah.
And everybody that I take out love to catch them. And I can stay in, and I can take people older than me, and they can still fish.
Yeah.
See, and so, and I can take new people that's never fished, and they get the thrill of fishing. And once you can get them catching fish, they're addicted.
That's a great way to get young people tied into it.
That's
I know
right.
my grandkids just
That's
love
right.
doing it when because it's just action, pretty constant
yeah.
action once you get into it.
My grandson has fished when he couldn't hold a regular pole. He held his little old plastic.
Yeah. So that's going to be coming up the third fog in March, as the old timer said.
You can just about count on it every time.
We'll certainly be talking about it.
Yes.
You just trolled a Spanish.
Just
rig,
squid.
the
I just
tree,
use a squid spoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
One at a time, and that's fun.
just right off the coast here.
Oh yeah, I just mostly stay in the bay.
Well, I was going to say the bay's been full of them lately.
Yeah. Once in a while, I'll go down to Crooked Island and fish out front in there.
We got a minute or two left. Remember we used to catch cobia all the time.
Oh, yes.
What happened to our cobia?
Well, you watch some videos in South Florida, still are catching them to a degree, but not like what they always did.
Yeah.
They're just not there.
I know.
The only ones I've caught in the last 4 years, I was bottom fishing
Yeah.
and caught them at wrecks.
Yeah.
And so we've done that, and it's a delicious fish, but they're going to have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our shark problem is our worst problem.
And you're out there all the time.
And I'm out there all the time, and it's just frustrating for them to continue to eat your fish, and then you just have to move. But they might follow you.
I know.
I mean, they're pretty smart, and dolphin are the same way.
Yep. Okay, well, Jerry, good show today, buddy.
Well, thank you.
We didn't really plan a whole lot. I want to talk about that nice little trip they had, and then talking about crappie fishing coming up,
Coming up,
and then.
I might go scouting this week.
Okay, we got to work on our schedule.
I don't want to take you down there in waterhole, so I got to find something.
It's great to have friends like Jerry, I'm telling you. But good luck and I'm glad you had that good trip.
Well, it was very enjoyable.
And
Gail, hold him to it.
And happy anniversary, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Folks, as always, we want to thank you for watching our show. We appreciate the viewership. Y'all do something good today for your fellow man. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.